All right, tell me if this sounds familiar at all. You go into the gym, you pull up your workout plan, you see bicep curls. So you go to the rack and you grab dumbbells. You got the same weight that you were pushing back in college. Let's say you grab 15 pounds, you go rep out 8 to 10 reps, like it says in your program, set down the weight and call it a day. If that is you, what I'm going to talk about in the next couple of minutes is going to completely change your training. Now, here's the deal. Anytime you can get in the gym is better than not. Yes, you're going to get benefit from getting a workout in, but I also recognize that you are taking time away from your family, your work, your busy schedule to get a workout in, and I want to make sure that you're making the most out of that time. So what I'm going to introduce to you in the next couple of minutes is a concept called reps in reserve training. This is going to help you know exactly how much weight you should be pushing on each movement. It'll help you know if you're pushing hard enough in each set, and even more importantly, it's going to help you to actually progress your weight from one week to the next. This is really important because if you are pushing the same amount of weight and the same amount of reps over and over and over and over again, you are not stimulating the muscle to grow over time. And you are going to limit the amount of growth and progress and strength that you can gain from your workout, so you're not going to get the most out of it. Muscle growth requires what we call progressive overload. And this essentially means that you are overloading the mechanical tension and stress on the muscle over time. Muscles do not know reps and sets and weight. To be honest, like your muscle cannot tell if you are doing 8 reps with 25 pounds. It just can tell the mechanical tension that's being asked of it, right? This is where a lot of guys get training wrong. They go in and they think, oh, what's the optimal amount of reps? What is the optimal weight I should be pushing? When in reality, the only answer to that is the amount of weight that is going to give you enough tension on your muscles and push it close enough to failure over and over and over again so that you can build muscle over time. Now, understanding that was a big unlock for me. Like I had just, in the gym for years, I'd gone and I just assigned weights to certain movements, right? I'd said, oh, well, barbell bench press, I'm going to put these plates on there and push this many reps, and that's just what I do, right? Or I am someone who curls 25 pounds, just for an example, right? The problem there is that I am limiting myself because I'm not actually pushing my muscles to the point of failure. I'm not pushing them to the point where I can't do another rep, and that is severely limiting the growth that I'm doing. So what I want to challenge you to do is the next time you go into the gym, instead of just thinking, okay, I have 8 to 10 reps programmed for me, I want you to grab your weight and do as many reps as you can until you can no longer do another clean rep. That is what we call technical failure. Essentially, you are pushing yourself to the point of where if you were going to get another rep, your failure would go out, or your form would go out the window. That is where I want you to stop. You're probably going to be able to do an extra 5 reps, maybe 10 reps. You might be able to do twice as many reps as you've been doing right now, depending on how hard you've been pushing yourself up to this point. But I guarantee you, you will surprise yourself if you actually sit down and push yourself to the point of where you cannot do another rep with good form. Now, based on that, I want you to increase the weight gradually until you fail at the top of the suggested rep range. Now, for example, if your rep range is 8 to 10 reps in your programming, I want you to increase the weight until rep 10 is the one that you fail. Get where I'm going with this? So that way you get to the end of your target rep range, you're fighting to keep that form, and you fail it, right? Maybe you can't, like on a curl, maybe you stop halfway because you can't get that weight any higher. Amazing. Great. Call that failure. Now, once you're familiar with that, we can start playing around with this idea of leaving reps in reserve. Because on movements like a bicep curl, you can fail that very comfortably and safely, right? But if you are doing a barbell back squat or bench press without a spotter, there are certain movements that actually failing is a little bit impractical and a little bit dangerous. And the science doesn't support that there's any significant difference between leaving one rep in reserve versus actually failing. So I want you to get familiar with what that failure feels like on a safer move like a bicep curl or a shoulder press. And then I want you to practice pushing those other big heavy lifts to 1 rep in reserve, meaning you could only do 1 more rep without failing. As you get familiar with that, that is your target. So you look at your rep range, 8 to 10 reps. I want to fail or be 1 rep away from failure at 10 reps. Do that confidently with good form. When you do, then you can increase the weight until you fail at 8 reps, right? So you fail at the bottom of your suggested rep range. From that point, you just keep that new weight every single session until you can do 1 more rep. You can do 1 more rep. And then once you fail at 10 reps, increase the weight, rinse and repeat. Now, guys, the benefit to this approach is you're going to be pushing your muscles to failure or close to failure. Up until this point, you probably have been avoiding that because, yeah, it means your muscles are probably going to be a little bit sore afterwards. It's going to hurt. You're probably going to have to take a longer rest in between sets. Heck, you might even have to shave off 1 set. If you have 3 programmed sets in the workout program and you do 2, and by the end of those 2, if you've actually failed them, you can't get that 3rd set in, amazing, at least you failed 2 sets. And I would rather that you cut off that 3rd set and have actually put in the right intensity in those first 2 sets to get there. Now, one caveat with this is to pull this off efficiently, you actually have to be tracking your weight from 1 session to the next. There's a lot of apps you can be using. If you are a current client of mine, you're using our coaching app, which you are able to track your weight, track the number of reps, and each week as you go in to do that session again, it will pull up your previous best records from the last session. You can try to improve that. The ways you can progress might look a little different each week. You might be able to get another rep in. Maybe you won't. Just keep pushing, keep trying. Each week you're going to get stronger and stronger, and you will progress that. You'll be able to do it with better form. You'll be able to slow down the reps more. You'll be able to add another rep. Eventually you will be able to add weight, but I want you to be thinking about pushing yourselves to failure, or at least with 1 rep in reserve. Now, if you do that, you're going to progress, you're going to get way stronger, you're going to make the most out of your time in the gym.